Hello and welcome to Race Streamer. So what I've got for you from Rye House isn't onboard footage, but it is the coverage from Alpha Live with Double Dash Media Motorsport commentary. And the reason I haven't got any onboard footage from this one is because I decided to buddy up with someone on this one. So there were so many new drivers at Rye House for this event that I figured it's about time that I offered to help out someone new, because this was the end of my second season of Club 100. So I decided to help out Thomas Holtz. So decided off the back of that to not film stuff throughout the day so I could concentrate more on making sure that I was around if Thomas needed help and bits throughout the day. So what I do have for you is the excellent coverage that is always provided by Alpha Live and Double Dash Media Motorsports. And what I can say to kind of summarise my day in terms of how it felt driving is I was still coming off the back of the tuition session that I had with Nicky Richardson at the previous round at Whilton Mill, where we'd been discussing different use of the brake pedal on the entry to corners, but also throughout when it comes to wet conditions. And this seriously helped me out on this day. Now, I might have had a bit of an issue in Heat 1. It seems that I tend to naff things up a bit in the first heat of the day, but I felt so much more confident driving in the wet than I ever have, and I've got to give it to Nicky Richardson for his advice that he gave me in that tuition session, because it's revolutionised my wet driving. Like, if I tell you what the lap time difference was between when I was at Rye House in the same conditions last year and this, like, it's staggering. It was like 2 seconds a lap difference, and I was running in the B final last year anyway. But yeah, so I'll be quiet about what happens this day. What I will say is that the field is so much stronger this year than it was last year. So this didn't prove to be an A final day for me, but you'll see what happens through the rest of the day. It was definitely such a good day and such a wicked way to round off the season for me. So I don't feature in the footage much for Heat 1, but I'm still going to leave it all in here anyway for context. But I've got quite a bit of coverage in the second and the third heats of the day, which is great because the racing was awesome in those. So I'll hand over to Alpha Live and Double Dash Motorsport Media.
Young at heart. Still young at heart, absolutely. And on top of that, we've also got the Young Driver Series, but we've got to focus on our race start here as we're good to go away here into Stadium. Daz Teal leads them away. Difficult to make out, of course, but he'll go in on the inside. Does he go immediately to the outside to try and hold on to first place as they all squirrel their way round on the ice rink-like stadium section? The sun will be in their eyes as well as they come here out of stadium onto the back straight. The 43 is round, and that's going to cause a bit of a pile up there on the exit. Unusual place for that to happen. I think the majority of the cars have been able to keep going, though. I'd be surprised if that one gets called as a full start as they go through hairpin 1 for the first time. Into hairpin 2 now, and again the sun will be in their eyes as they come onto the back straight. This is that was the 53 of Tom Fuller battling away there with Keith Segal in the 112 as they come into pylon. You've got a driver trying to recover themselves there through Complex Nivelle. They go 144 of Knight working his way through the field. Peter Knight already out there looking to impress as he did at Whilton Mill as they stream through Paddock Corner at the end of lap number 1. Then it is Daz Teal who's held on to it. Chris Alcock stays in second, Jonah Barker in third, but with a penalty for causing multiple collisions.
Yep, I think it was it was Roger Davis who initially went round in the number 43. The driver trying to recover was Andreas Dimitriou in the 193, so his race unfortunately is already pretty much done in terms of good points. 5 minutes and 38 seconds of this one to go. Here is the battle between the 42 and the 6. Pietro Pagano there in the number 6, cutting to the inside as they go into hairpin number 2. Can he get the drive done? Still going to be side by side. There's that good line on the outside from Pope, and the number 59 of Jason Bradbury is looking in attention as Pagano goes down the inside there. Really nice move by Pietro. Jason Bradbury looking to get some good scores, has had to fight his way through B finals the last couple of rounds. Will be looking to qualify for the A final outright later on today. He has had a contact warning though, so he needs to be careful to not pick up too many of those as we'll get a penalty like Rob Dowsett has just done there.
Yep. Advantage by whoa, as into shot there.
Oh, Bradbury with a problem. Bradbury with a problem there and is pulling off the road. has lost power.
Oh,
He's
seems
got
to have
drive
got
again
going
now. Ah, did he?
Hit
did he?
the button.
Yeah. Did he flick the starter and accidentally switch his engine off? It is a risk in these kind of conditions because you are putting a lot of lock in, and some of the drivers tend to wear quite big gloves.
Yeah.
Almost like motorbike gloves on a morning like this because it's cold, and you can flick the starter switch, and yeah, that's not what you want to be doing because you lose that crucial bit that makes you go.
I tell you what, you don't want to be doing it in stadium either, as there's a little tap there on the back of Keith Segal's car by Pietro Pagano. Very experienced racer is Keith Segal, holds on to it for now in their battle over 6th place. They're coming into shot now as we cut to the lead battle here.
Yep.
Daz Teal in the number 2, ahead of Chris Alcock in the 3. Alcock going for the inside line, but Teal will get good drive off of hairpin 1 here, and Alcock understands and decides to butt out of that move and try and set up another one into 2. It's going to be a bit of a drag race, but I'd expect Teal to come out up tops with this for now. Into Pylon, and then Complex Nouvelle, possibly the part of the circuit where in these conditions you stick most closely to the conventional dry line.
You take a very extreme version of, and it sometimes depends if there's water on the inside of the right-hander. You know, you sometimes can go a little bit wide out and again use the abrasive surfaces that's on driver's left. The risk though is there's a very rough section there. If you slip off the edge of it, you're not going to be able to pull it back. Chris Alcock looking for a switch back there on Daz Teal. Jonah Barker not too far behind in all of this as well. The top C2 runner, there he is in the 196. Looks like they've got some traffic to deal with soon as well, which should be Andreas Dimitriou. Teal takes that wider line again as they go through hairpin 1. And Jonah Barker is really flying here as down the inside goes Alcock. They're going to be side by side as they go towards Pylon. No, Teal gets the drag off the corner again. You can see how hard he's working the steering wheel there, trying to find that grip on these slick Bridgestone YDS tyres. How about this performance from Barker, right up there with some of the big runners in this championship?
Yep, absolutely. These are the kind of conditions where the conventional running order can get shaken up a little bit here, and it's a great run so far from Jonah Barker. New personal best from Daz Teal as he tries to bridge a gap from Chris Alcock. Alcock does have the fastest lap of the race, but it wasn't that time around. So Daz responding well here to the pressure from Alcock, and indeed Jonah Barker having a look down the inside. I'm not sure we've seen too many people carry this off so far today, but he's made it work. Beautifully done there by Jonah Barker. He's going to go defensive into hairpin 2. Alcock will try and run it round the inside, or indeed get the switch back onto the straight, but can he find the grip that tight on the line? It's going to be a drag race, and I thought Barker's going to be able to stamp home the advantage coming into Pylon. Indeed he is. This is a fantastic drive here from Barker, and he's got himself up into 2nd place.
He has indeed. C3 running, just to pay attention to that. Steph Christoforou is having a great race so far. It's up to 9th overall.
And that's from the back.
And that is from the back. So another C3 runner looking like they could have a good day here in the wet conditions at Rye House. Leaders coming out of stadium now and towards hairpin number 1. Daz Teal still leads, but Jonah Barker pushing all the time and has gone for the move down the inside again. He did this on Chris Alcock a lap ago, and now he's done it on Daz Teal. Fantastic stuff from Jonah Barker. He leads at Rye House.
Absolutely brilliant moves, and did a repeat. He went to the inside quite late, Andrew. It was in a way bold to rely that much on putting that steering input in under these conditions, but he made it work.
He's clearly quite happy with the brakes as well, as Alcock now down the inside of Teal, side by side. They are still going to be side by side as they approach the last corner. It's so tight through here. Alcock will try and set one up to get a good run down the straight and into Stadium Corner. But again, with so much water on the inside, it's very hard to get a conventional line there on the inside. Alcock going to try and go around the outside. That would be an audacious manoeuvre, and Teal covers it off. Jonah Barker, meanwhile, is on the last lap, running away with this one.
This is his first race of the season, according to the championship standings.
Oh, okay. That's a very good start to his
Pretty
season
good start.
then.
Yeah, I think you can be happy with that. He's left Daz Teal and Chris Alcock to battle over the scraps for second place, as it were, albeit still good points on the board.
Keith Segal has got a track limits warning penalty. Ooh, was that a bit of a mistake there from Barker? Bit of pressure. Got to get through the last couple of corners. Here is the last corner. Is Jonah Barker going to close this one out and take a win in C2 and overall? Yes, he is. Jonah Barker wins heat number 2 here at Rye House. Second for Daz Teal. Third for Chris Alcock. Who's going to get fourth? It's going to be on the line. It'll be Tom Fuller. Good result there for Tom. Peter Knight continues his good form in 5th place. 6th for Pietro Pagano. 7th for Keith Segal. That's a real shame that he's got a penalty, because that would have been a really strong result for Keith. Reece Pope in 8th, 9th, and top C3 was Steph Christoforou. 10th for Rogerio Mendes. Roger Davis recovers to 11th. Rob Dowsett, 12th, has penalties. Jason Bradbury, 13th, after his ignition error earlier on in the race. And then our C3 runners, second in C3, Adam Shepherd, then Andrew Ravage, Tommy Welsh, Rana Menyon, and Andreas Dimitri. We're going to cut. You're watching live coverage of the 8th round of the Club 100 Sprint Championships on Alpha Live. Here is your grid for heat number 8. Jason Bradbury, another driver that needs a good result here. He starts on pole alongside Callum Brewell, Rob Dowsett and Chris Powell on row 2, Lee Hackett and Steph Theodori row 3, Daniel Brewer and Eric Mignon row 4, Rogerio Mendes and Dan Seeger row 5, Callan Sigafus and Tom Fuller on row 6, Andreas Dimitru and Pete Crompton on row 7, Gareth Pritchard and Chagjit Singh on row 8, Luke Dunnett and George Lawler wrap out the 18-cart field. Apologies, 19 is Matthew Cochran on the back of this one as well. We'll wait to see if we are good to go then. If the pusher cart pulls away, yes it does, so Bradbury will lead from pole position. Another driver who needs a good result here and will have the lead into turn 1. Up the inside immediately is Rob Dowsett in the red and white suit there. Takes second place. Brewell fighting back though on the second part of Stadium Corner. Has done so really well. Takes back second place. Chris Powell there in the Gulf colour style helmet in the 171. Fighting for 4th. Up the inside of Dowsett. Dowsett gets good run off of hairpin number 1. Dan Brewer's looking for an overtake as well. Nothing doing there as they come through hairpin number 2, but another clean start here in the lightweights. Into pylon corner and complex Nouvelle. See Eric Mignon in the middle of all of that as well in the 45. This is just the start that Jason Bradbury needed. He has experience of leading from the front. He's the winner of the last 2 B finals in this competition. And had that error in race number 1 where he lost drive from the engine momentarily. Cost him a good few positions. Similar to Andrew Ward in the last race, he needs to have a strong run in this one. Down the inside for second place, there goes Chris Powell, the former Premier Sprint champion. Rule's not giving this one up though. He eventually slots into 3rd place. Dan Brewer just behind Rob Dowsett. So Rob had a penalty in his first race, so another one who's needing a clean run through the next 5 and a bit minutes. Andreas Dimitri, unfortunately, has had a problem on lap number 1, has fallen to the bottom of the order. And we saw that in race number 1 as well. So Bradbury leads by a second ahead of Chris Powell. Callum Brewell 3rd, leading in C2, as I think that was Rogerio Mendes having a look down the inside of Callan Sigafus. That will have been for 11th place through Stadium Corner. Bit of a train forming up behind Brewell now though, with Dowsett, Brewer, Hackett and Theodorou all involved. All experienced drivers. I don't think there's many more drivers with more experience than Chris Powell, and he is closing in on Jason Bradbury. Good move there by Rob Dowsett down the inside, gets 3rd place back off of Callum Brewell, and in fact changed for the lead. Just like that, Chris Powell to the front of the order then here at Rye House. He leads by less than 0.2 of a second ahead of Jason Bradbury. Here comes Dan Brewer as well, down the inside of Callum Brewell, trying to get 4th place off the former Warwick and Cranfield University driver, and he has done just that. So Dan Brewer making progress in this race. Another driver who would hope to be in the A final later on today, but hasn't always been able to get there. We're now trying to make a move on Rob Dowsett. Rob Dowsett gets the better drive off of hairpin number 2. He's actually looking like they could close in Bradbury at the moment. Seeger has Brewer, sorry, has another look down the inside. Seeger, where is Dan Seeger? He's currently in 9th place. You just see him there in the 95 coming through the shots. So as they file through to end lap number 4, 3 minutes to go. Brewer to the inside of Dowsett again, gets the move done on the exit of Stadium. 3rd place now then for Dan Brewer. The lead gap is 0.7 of a second, so it has gone out. Half a second pulled out by Powell on that last lap. Everyone checking over the shoulders just to see where the rivals are. There's Dan Seeger. Has now got up to 7th place. He's ahead of Lee Hackett in the white helmet and Tom Fuller in the pink, black and white helmet just behind. It's a good battle going on there over 7th place. New fastest lap has just gone in from Dan Brewer actually now. I was about to say it was Chris Powell, but Dan Brewer goes even quicker with 55.764, closes in 3.5 tenths on Jason Bradbury on that last lap. Hackett has a look down the inside of Dan Seeger there. Stays in 8th place for now. Track limit warning for the number 90, which is Luke Dunnett. Oh, Seeger wide there through hairpin number 1. That could offer Lee Hackett the opportunity to get by. Can he do a bit of a switchback through hairpin number 2? And just looking outside my commentary box window, they're still side by side as they go down into pylon corner, but Seeger will hold on. Here's the battle for 2nd place. Jason Bradbury has been closed in on now by Dan Brewer, who's got time on his side to make this move for 2nd place. Down the pit straight past pit exit. Brewer has the inside line and has the position. Really nicely done there from Dan Brewer. Nice and calm. And if you can get a couple of laps together here, could challenge Chris Powell towards the end of this race. There's only 60 seconds of it to go. But there'll be at least this lap plus one more. C3 situation looks like this. In fact, C1, C2 and C3 are all together on the timing towers. You look at that on the left-hand side of your screen. George Lawler, as we say, is the C3 leader in 13th place overall. In the overall battle is currently very close with Callan Sigafus in the 189. Last lap then for the leader, Chris Powell. Returned to Club 100 action at Whilton Mill a few weeks ago. And definitely hasn't lost any of the skills that made him a multiple sprint champion in years gone by. It's great to have him back in the paddock. Well-respected character. And has controlled this race in a very Chris Powell fashion. He just has a check over the shoulder there, sees that there's no challenge from behind. He's just got to navigate his way through the last couple of corners on this last lap, and he's going to take a heat victory here for round 8 of the Club 100 Lightweight Sprint Championships. Chris Powell is well and truly back and is a factor here today at Rye House. He takes heat number 8 with ease, ahead of Dan Brewer in 2nd place. Jason Bradbury will be fine with 3rd place there. Good conversion of points from pole position. Rob Dowsett needed a big result and got a big result. Wins in C2 as well with 4th. 5th for Callum Brewell. 6th, Steph Theodorou. Lee Hackett in 7th, Dan Seeger 8th, Eric Mini on 9th, Tom Fuller 10th, Rogério Mendes and Cameron Sigafus the last of the C2s. And then our C3 order looked like this. George Lawler taking top honours in C3 ahead of Luke Dunnett, Andreas Dimitri, who recovered well to 15th, Jagjit Singh, Gareth Pritchard, Matthew Cockerham and Pete Crompton.
Let's give you the grid then for our final lightweight sprint heat of the day before we get into the all-important finals. Rob Langthorpe on pole with Peter Knight alongside Tom Fuller and Rogério Mendes on row 2. Row 3 is Rob Dowsett and former champion Chris Powell. Callum Brewell and Dan Healy start on row 4 with Mike Coppin on row 5. It will be a vacant spot there in the 10th spot on the grid. Alistair Irvine and Fraser Brunton make up row number 6. Row 7 is going to be Arana Menon and Tommy Welsh. Row 8, Thomas Holt and Jamie Mead. Luke Dunnett and Jagjit Singh make up row 9, and it's a 19-cart grid because Dean Everest lines up at the back in the 170 cart. Been a really interesting day to see some of our class 3 runners coming through the field in this one. As you said earlier, mate, interesting to see how it's been developing, so that is going to be a factor to watch. But how's this one going to go at the start? Peter Knight there in the 144. Be interesting to see what start he can get. Rob Langthorpe, though, is your pole sitter, leads them away for the final heat of the lightweights today. Good start from Tom Fuller in grid number 3. He's going to try and go around the inside. Peter Knight is going to try and go around the outside. Sorry, who was round there, mate?
Rogério Mendes was round in the 101, did start on the second row of the grid. Oh, Peter Knight in the water, through the water splash that we've got here at Rye House. This isn't Wales Rally GB, even though it is the right time of year for that kind of thing. Rob Langthorpe, I think, went deep, and Peter Knight leads. Well, that's remarkable.
That's obviously the technique you need to employ. Mike Coppin coming back at Tom Fuller there for 3rd place. How on earth? Peter Knight's grip through hairpin 1 and the drive off of it was just completely uncompromised.
I think he's been taking lessons from George Russell on that one. That was Magello-like.
That's amazing. Anyway, it is Peter Knight up into the lead. Rob Langthorpe, though, has been able to stay up near the top in 2nd place, and Mike Coppin, as I say, getting Tom Fuller there as they come around to finish this first lap. In fact, Fuller has been taken, or is being taken, by Fraser Brunton. Brunton up to 4th place in the background as Coppin tries to tuck underneath Langthorpe. There's a penalty for Chris Powell.
It's bump and pass.
It is bump and pass. That's 4 positions that's going to be applied to Chris Powell. Watching him coming up through one of the finals would be an entertaining one to watch if he needed to.
Just to remind, Fraser Brunton's on a hat-trick here.
Yeah.
A hat-trick of... And look at this up the inside of Rob Langthorpe, going for P4, going for P3. There's no way that he could pull that one off on Mike Coppin. Mike Coppin's going to be side by side. Tells him to get behind, youngster. You're not coming through me there.
It's like when someone's trying to find their grid slot on a formation lap. I need to be in here. That was amazing. But Coppin able to just hold off Brunton. To be fair, Coppin did clearly have the corner next time there. Peter Knight in the lead, though, and the fastest lap of the race, 55.9 he's just set. Now Mike Coppin leads the charge, or does he? No, Brunton down the inside of the stadium. He gets over the curb, which is going to be oh so slippery in these conditions, but manages to drift it round for 2nd place. Lovely move there from Fraser Brunton. This is fantastic stuff from the young driver. Mike Coppin, so bold on them. You can see the confidence that they've got on the brakes now that they didn't have earlier, as Tom Fuller battles away here with Dan Healy, and Alistair Irvine and Callum Brewell are trying to get involved as well. And there is Healy through on Fuller and up into what will be 6th place, and Callum Brewell is past Irvine as well in the background as they go into hairpin 2. Brilliant stuff here. There's Chris Powell ahead of Dan Healy, but remember, he's going to be docked 4 positions from wherever he finishes on the road there in the 171. And the distinctive, well, you can always spot Chris Powell because his name is at large on his helmet, with the golf-esque colours, I suppose we'd say, to describe it.
And worthy of the golf colours as well.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that's a pet peeve of mine. We'll move swiftly on.
Check out the podcast, is all I can say on that rant. This then the battle, Rob Langthorpe in 4th place ahead of a driver we haven't really mentioned so far this race, Rob Dowsett running there in 5th place. And Chris Powell's going to try and go down the inside, and he's going to make that stick unless Dowsett can find particularly good drive around the outside. He does find particularly good drive around the outside and is able to hold on to it. Mike Coppin style.
That just brings Dan Healy back into this one as well, who dropped off the pack. And he had a little bit of an error through hairpin number 1. 3.5 minutes of this one to go. This race feels tense on the basis that there's a lot of drivers in this race that need good results, whether it be for getting into an A final or championship or whatever it may be. There's a lot riding on this one.
Yep.
Peter Knight, though, continues to wow. 54.974 as side by side go Powell and Healy. Healy very keen to get through here.
He just didn't quite hit that sweet spot of tucking underneath.
Yeah,
Powell, he just needed to be that little bit further alongside there.
It's getting that overspeed so that the driver that you're overtaking knows, yeah, I'm not going to be able to hold this as we go through the left-hand kink, and forms in behind. Rob Langthorpe doing a great job though here, defending from Rob Dowsett. And Powell and Healy. This is all over 4th places. Oh, that's an interesting spot to have a go, Rob.
Oh, and it's a cone.
He's hit the cone there. I think that's going to be a penalty, as Callum Brule was down the inside of Tom Fuller, who's got the move done. Fastest lap from Brunton, responds 54.761, and with 2 and a bit minutes to go, the gap is under 2 seconds. Healy still trying to find his way past Chris Powell. Dowsett still trying to find his way past Langthorpe. Contacts warning for the 170, which is Dean Everest.
Oh, and a late move to the inside by Chris Powell, scribbling for it. Is he going to get the double overtake? Yes, he is. He is going to get the double overtake, so long as he can just get good enough drive against Dowsett. No, Dowsett's going to be on the outside, but Powell will have the inside of the next corner. And we've seen good drive this race, but no, Dowsett is going to be able to get that position back. I thought that was going to be a double overtake, and Powell making the move to the inside extremely late there in what is a not too grippy braking zone. So extreme confidence there from Powell on the brakes.
What is quite an interesting tactic here is with less than 90 seconds to go from Dan Healy. I would just stick on Chris Powell's rear bumper. You know Powell's going to go for it because he's got a penalty and he needs to get as far up the order as possible. He's going to be like Moses parting the Red Sea, and he's going to give you those opportunities to get through. Saying that, though, he's going to try and get past Powell himself. He's not listening to me at all, Howard.
And that was a carbon copy of the attempt he had a couple of laps ago, and unfortunately for Healy, it went the same way, i.e. it stayed as they were once they were out of stadium. So, yeah, he's not waiting for Powell to clear the way. On Dowsett. Dowsett goes wide, and that's going to allow Powell through, and Healy's going to want the opportunity as well, but he's going to have to slot in behind Dowsett. Dowsett, though, Powell can't ignore him. He is still there alongside, but Powell is going to hold on to it and get himself up into 4th place, as our race leader is surely coming on to start the last lap. Indeed, he is. Peter Knight, we've barely seen him, and that's a testament to his dominance in this heat.
He is being closed in on, though, by Fraser Brunton. The gap is down to less than 1.3 seconds. That's going to be a big gap to pull in on the last lap, but you never know. Healy's still trying to get past Rob Dowsett here, trying to go to the inside. And no, see, he loses it just there once you get to about 10 o'clock round Stadium Corner. And you need to be having that ultra late apex to get the drive towards hairpin number 1. Smell a little bit of desperation from Healy here, especially considering that he didn't have a good first heat, but down the inside there, that's going to get it done, and that will be 5th place, or will it? Because Dowsett's going to fight back again. He's been very strong out of hairpin number 2, but also very strong today. Yet again, Peter Knight shows how it's done. Yet again, Fraser Brunton has a first, and a second. That may be pole position. We'll wait and see. Mike Coppin in a strong 3rd, top C1, good results. Christopher Powell, 4th. And no, unless his transponder's dropped off. Dan Healy did get 5th. Rob Dowsett 6th. Rob Langthorpe 7th. Callum Brule in 8th. Alistair Irvin in 9th. That's not the best of results for Alistair. I think he's going to have lost the championship lead in C2 with that. 10th place to Tom Fuller. Jagjit Singh takes a win in C3. Well done to Singh there. I think that's the first of the day. Luke Dunnett was 2nd in C3 and 12th overall. Rogero Mendes recovers to 13th after the spin on lap 1. Rana Menon, Jamie Mead, Dean Everest, Tommy Walsh and Thomas Holt were your runners and riders there in heat number 12. This big final.
Indeed, Stephen Westwood will start this one from pole. I have to say, by the way, note the points accrued over the heats, how close it is at the front of this grid. Stephen Westwood on pole with Rob Langthorpe alongside. Ned Douglas and Jonah Barker make up row 2. Two drivers who I think have driven very well so far today. Dan Seeger and Max Reed are on row 3. Alistair Irvine and Tom Fuller on row 4. It's going to be important for Irvine, I think, to do his absolute best to get up into the A final if he can at all manage it from a Class 2 championship perspective. Christopher Powell and Steph Christoforou are your 5th row, running at your top 10, and then it's Rob Dowsett and Andrew Ward on row 6. Row 7 is going to be Ashley White and Callan Sigafus. James Venning, battling so much throughout today, is going to be there on row 8 with Jed Toole alongside. Eric Mignon and Matt Collier make up row number 9. Rogerio Mendez and Roger Davis will be row 10 to round out the top 20. Then it'll be Raminas Sakauskas and Adam Harding on row 11. That's all we have on the graphic, but remember, we have also got our promotees from the C final who have just been confirmed as well on timing. Reese Pope confirmed as your winner of that C final, as we just saw. Garrett Berry in 2nd, James Williams in 3rd, and Dean Everest has made the cut because
Did someone be a little bit light?
Cameron Moss, 4 positions, gaining a single place through contact.
Oh, okay.
Which we didn't spot on timing during the race. So Dean Everest did actually get through in the end. I'd still argue that what we were saying applied about playing it safe, but he has got through. So that rounds out your 26 karts on the grid for your B final, and there are only 2 spots available. There is the rain coming down.
It's coming sideways.
It is coming sideways indeed. Only 2 spots get you up into the A final.
Yep.
There are more drivers on this grid than 2 who I think would expect on average to get up into that A final.
This is going to be a lot of fun, this one, and we've seen B finals in the lightweights be very good here in at Rye in the past. I think back to a couple of years ago, we had one that I want to say was won by David Longman. That was one of my races of the year. Very different conditions to this, though. Keep your comments coming in on the YouTube stream. We're keeping an eye on them. Hello to Ash Bartlett, who says, "Let's go, James, kart number 113." James also had a very good race in that one. We'll see him again in this B final. Lots of support coming in for Steph Theodorou. Hello to Mikey Theo Racing, who's also cheering on for Oliver Flashman, who I'm guessing did. I'm sorry, I should pay more attention. Is Oliver up into the A final? I've not seen his name so far.
I'm pretty sure he is. Yes, he is. He's a 7th on the grid in the A final, actually. So good.
A very good drive, and Charlie Monk as well, who's looking out for Rob Dowsett in all of this as well. Keep those comments in. Heavyweights coming up this afternoon, of course. If you're tuned in wanting to watch them, do stick about, because we've got 2 lightweight races to go, the B and the A final. As I say, I reckon this B one's going to be good. The weather really is weird today. As I say, the wind is quite blustery. We've got a bit of drizzle in the air, but if I look further, if I look beyond the plane and Ryasic Park, I can see blue sky again.
My issue with that one, mate, is it's a northeasterly breeze, which is the direction our comms box faces into. If you turn around and look out the back, I'm not so convinced. So you're right, there is blue sky, but if anything, it's the clouds are heading in to cover that up. Well. That is where the geese have come from in the past. So it's drizzling with a strong northeasterly breeze. Not really gonna. I don't think the wind is gonna unsettle the carts too much around here, he said. It's a side breeze coming in from the driver's left as they go down the main straight. There aren't really any major long straights that have a headwind or tailwind into a major braking zone, but it is still quite blustery. As we are good for the off here in the B final. Here we go then. The 29er Stephen Westwood leads them away with Rob Langthorpe alongside into stadium corners. Several drivers who may know. Alistair Irvine's looking to make early progress on the inside of stadium. Could just see him darting to the inside there on Ned Douglas, trying to, but he hasn't managed to make it stick that much. As coming through there on Ned Douglas, that Jonah Barker with a storming start up to 3rd place. I think it might well be, as they break into hairpin 1 for the first time. Rob Langthorpe has been able to get himself up to the head of the field, I note, significantly, as they go 2 abreast, 3 abreast, and Ned Douglas is into the tyres, and that's going to cause a concertina effect behind, and they're round you need to put your foot on the brake. Some of them back there, because there was a lot of moving about there. Mignon spins on the apex of hairpin 2. That is an extremely scruffy start there from the field, and a lot of the drivers did well to make their way through that. It all started with Ned Douglas hitting into the tyres, and it just started a lot of drivers to go off in avoidance. James Venning was off there trying to recover his car, the number 163. But it is going to be Rob Langthorpe and Jonah Barker who are at the head of this field as we come round to finish a crazy lap 1.
Max Reed was involved in that as well, went full Sebastian Vettel into Lagos 2012 rolling backwards, but managed to miss everybody, or everybody else managed to miss him. But that's him out of contention for getting up into the A final. So Langthorpe leads, Barker second, Westwood third. The big driver though that I think we need to look out for in this race, Howard, is Alistair Irvine. This is huge for him in his C2 battle. He has to get through into that A final, because there's other drivers such as Martin Theodorou already in there. 12 minutes in this race again. We've already done over a minute and a half of it. Irvine's just got to pick his moments. He only needs to get into second, doesn't need to win this race. It's a yellow flag out towards pylon corner. Not quite sure who that is for. Irvine has got to pick his moments. He's got a long race to deal with and should have the pace to get past the drivers ahead. Just trying to cut to the inside of Stephen Westwood there and get third place.
Worth bearing in mind, of course, third place in the Class 2 runnings is Fraser Brunton, who's also had a fantastic...
Oh, Westwood goes round. Westwood goes round all of his own, makes the mistake. Well, that's one position for Alistair Irvine. Christoforou is also going quickly. Steph Christoforou in the 197, C3 runner. So this is, look at the number of C3 runners that we've got in this.
I was just looking at the C3 standings to see.
Up the inside goes Irvine on Barker. This is for the crucial second position. Barker's on the outside trying to fight back as they go through in the kink. And then the last corner will be to the advantage of Alistair Irvine. That is beautifully done.
Barker will have good drive off of that corner though. Will he come back at him? He certainly will. He'll go to driver's right. I almost thought he was going to go down the pit lane earlier on. He was so far out wide out of Complex Nouvelle and gets down the inside. Alistair Irvine tries to tuck back under, but Barker is wise to it and closes it off. And Jonah Barker will know the significance of this position. He is not going to give this one up easily. And Irvine in an extremely difficult position here in many respects. Actually, this could be very good for Rob Langthorpe, allowing him to get on up the road if they start battling very early. Christoforou, as you say, mate, Class 3 runner, and as far as I can tell, he's almost a sort of disruptor within the Class 3 ranks, because he's not in the hunt for the sort of highest of the Class 3s in the championship. So he's just in this to have as good a day at the races as he can. As Irvine goes for it into Complex Nouvelle, and Barker was slightly balked maybe by race leader Langthorpe, but it wasn't enough for Irvine to take that second place spot. Behind them, Christoforou and Chris Powell are coming along for the party, as there's another three drivers in the form of Ashley White, Stephen Westwood and Andrew Ward working together in the background as well. This could get extremely exciting for the battle over these top two qualification promotion spots. And Langthorpe actually hasn't been able to pull away in the way I expected. So there's both positions on offer, as Irvine is going to try again down the inside of hairpin number 1.
Can he get the move done? Oh, Langthorpe's gone a little bit deep as well, but that is Irvine up into second place. He had to make that move. The pressure was on. He was aware of the drivers coming in behind, in particular Christopher Powell, who's been on really good form so far this season. Hasn't had the best of luck today, which is why he's in this B final. But Rob Langthorpe now is under a lot of pressure from Alistair Irvine. They're all queuing up behind as Christoforou has his nose on the inside of Barker there, looking for third place. Christopher Powell will similarly wait for us. There's still 7.5 minutes of this one to go. Alistair Irvine comes onto the pit straight now. He's going to be side by side, is he, with Langthorpe? Langthorpe goes hard to driver's right to defend there. We saw a big defensive job done by James Taylor in the B final for heavyweights a few weeks ago at Whilton Mill. Rob Langthorpe might have to do something similar here at Rye House in the lightweights to stop Alistair Irvine getting through, but Irvine's on the inside, and he's going to take the lead into hairpin one. Was brave there, has got it done. Barker is through to second place as well. Great driving from Jonah Barker. Here comes Langthorpe back, trying to retake the position. That may open the door for Powell and Christoforou, but it's Irvine leading from Langthorpe. Barker, Powell up to fourth.
Yeah, Christoforou and Powell weren't in a position to capitalise on them both drifting out, on Barker and Langthorpe drifting out wide, because they were having a battle of their own coming through hairpin 2 as well. But brilliant stuff there from Irvine, managed to navigate his way to the head of the field. Langthorpe still in the second of those promotion spots. Worth bearing in mind as they go wheel-to-wheel racing, of course. Any penalties for these folks, and they're out.
Yeah. Yeah, the smallest penalty that you can receive is a two-placer is, oh my goodness, Chris Powell trying to go around the outside of Jonah Barker there. Andrew Ward is also up to 6th place and is on the move. So don't count out Ward in the number 32 with 6 minutes to go, as Barker and Powell side by side again. And it is such a difficult circuit to overtake on this Rye House kart raceway, especially in these conditions. Barker has run a little bit wide there, in fact very wide. Powell may go and sweep round the outside. Big load of curb taken by Barker. Powell has taken the opportunity brilliantly, all of that experience being used by the C1 driver. He is up to 3rd.
I feel like that's one of those situations where if you're Jonah Barker, you feel that he didn't quite leave you enough room for pylon, whereas if you're Chris Powell, you left a perfect amount of room on the inside of pylon. Fastest lap of the race from Rob Langthorpe. He's not done in the pursuit of this, and look, he is right with Alistair Irvine there. That's the lead battle. You two do not want to battle too much, but Langthorpe, I'm sure, won't say no. I've noticed, although he has made, I think, a mistake and gone deep, he does take a particularly deep line out of this hairpin anyway, or has done on previous laps, but takes a more conventional line this time. He's aware that there is pressure from Chris Powell. Immediately behind him, Jonah Barker, Steph Christoforou still there in 5th place, and Andrew Ward has got to the head of that pack behind, but he's now some 3.8 seconds down the road, so he really does need them to start battling if he's going to get involved. Wouldn't put it past them though. There's plenty of battling to come here, because of these top 5, you can see there was Andrew Ward just coming into shot there. Of these top 5, 3 of them aren't happy right now because they're not getting into that A final. There's a new fastest lap of the race from Chris Powell. He takes a wide line going into stadium to try and get good drive off the corner, does he? No, he must be going about a bit more wide than he expected. That was very far out wide, but it works well for him, gets good drive, as there's a cone penalty for Steph Christoforou. So now he has one position to be docked at the end of this race. So if he finishes in 2nd, he ain't getting through to that A final. But the question will be, I doubt any of the drivers around him will be aware of that, as Christoforou tries to go for it on Chris Powell through hairpin 2, but I don't think he's going to have good enough drive. Powell will surely hold on to this one.
3.9 seconds is the gap to Andrew Ward behind all of this. He's in a bit of no man's land, unfortunately. He's got no help from behind. So if he's going to cross that gap, he's got to do it all by himself. 3.5 minutes to go. Alistair Irvine is looking more in control of this race now. He's going to have a lead of over a second. There is Ward in the number 32. New fastest lap of the race has just gone in from Irvine of 55.932. His lead is now more than a second and a half.
And we should acknowledge on this shot as well, as we held it for a little while longer, you saw Stephen Westwood coming through to lead a tasty battle between himself, Rob Dowsett, Tom Fuller, Adam Harding. They're all mere tenths apart, so that's a nice little battle happening as well. But rightly so, we're focusing on this because Powell is all out of shape towards hairpin 1. It's going to go out wide, and that's going to allow Jonah Barker up into 3rd place. Will it also allow Christoforou through? No, it won't. But that was a bit of a heart-in-the-mouth moment for Chris Powell there, and he's dropped a position. And it's just, Rob Langthorpe's got a little bit of breathing space there from the 98, from the 196. Nothing to write home about. In fact, in one corner where Barker is bowled on the brakes, he's effectively negated that gap. But Rob Langthorpe is dealing with the pressure well here, it has to be said, at the moment. There is Alistair Irvine, and he must be starting to just relax into the rhythm. He's done what he needed to do, get to the head of the field, and he's just got to keep it together now. This is where it gets very interesting. Powell again choosing his very wide line there, as Barker tries to tuck underneath Langthorpe. As they come onto the straight heading towards hairpin 1, Powell will be looking to be a bit more controlled this time under braking. Indeed he is.
The trouble for The trouble for Alistair, though, is this circuit, you know, we've not seen it so far today, and we hope it stays that way, as Barker goes very defensive on the inside. That's going to cost him, actually. Yeah, Powell is going to go back through there and into third place. All it takes is for one driver to run a little bit offline on that run into turn one, drag some water on, and that's always the worry when you're the lead around this place in these conditions is, please nobody change the track conditions.
Yes.
Don't let me be the first person to run into something that's new and undiscovered.
It stopped drizzling. I was looking out the window a couple of minutes ago.
That form of track development, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
more
fine.
grip, please, yes.
Yes.
It's the other way that will be concerning Alistair. We just wanted to keep it on the road. It's down the inside. Here comes Powell for the big move for second place. He's got it. Christopher Powell has fought his way back into a position which gets him in the A final.
He's quite right, wide through hairpin 2, and I noted Langthorpe did his backup wide line, his alternative line through hairpin 1 to get good drive off of it, but he wasn't able to do anything with it, so it is job done for Powell for now, as surely this time Alistair Irvine will come round and see the last lap board this time around. So we've got one more lap to decide this one. It's Chris Powell in that all-important second spot, the last of the promotion spots from this B final, as once again conditions do look to be improving here over Rye House Kart Circuit, but who is going to join Alistair Irvine, pending any disaster for himself, in that A final?
Well, it's not going to be Christoforou. He has a penalty. So even if he finishes second on the road, he'll get demoted outside.
Oh.
Whoa, Langthorpe, massive catch. But that might be it. That might develop the gap that Christopher Powell needs to just hold on here, because that did hold up Barker. And, of course, Langthorpe's lost time with that near spin, just coming through the kink after stadium. But Christopher Powell, well, both the top two have had to dig deep here. They've both come from outside the top four. Alistair Irvine is going to come around the final corner and take the win here at Rye House in the B final. We'll take a trophy as well for his troubles. We'll see him in the A final. Phew! Through goes the Warwick graduates. Christopher Powell takes second place. He's very pleased with that. Rob Langthorpe, the position nobody wants to finish in. One spot outside of the A final. That's third for him. Fourth for Jonah Barker. Fifth for Steph Christoforou. Will be demoted one position virtue of a cone penalty, so Andrew Ward will be classified in fifth. Rob Dowsett, good day for Rob there in seventh. Good weekend as well, I can see in the comments. And he had some success yesterday in the MSV Trackday Trophy, so well done to Rob. Stephen Westwood, 8th, Tom Fuller, 9th, and second, we should mention that's going to be a C3 win, isn't it, for Christoforou.